Hello and welcome to The Drug Trip. This channel is here to feed the curiosity of those who would like to gain an insight to the effects of various drugs and substances through user experiences and stories, with our main goal being to entertain and reduce harm and abuse. We post regular trip reports every few days, so if you do enjoy these, we would really appreciate it if you subscribed. And more importantly, we love to hear our viewers' thoughts, opinions and experiences, so please leave something for us in the comment section and we may use it in a future video. Enjoy and be safe. I have had around 30 psychedelic experiences over the past 30 years, consisting almost entirely of LSD and mushrooms. I am in my 40s. I would not consider myself a psychonaut because I was not intentionally going inward for the experience. I have had mystical experiences on my journeys, but it was not my intention, just an awesome side effect on a recreational trip. I had my last psychedelic experience when I was in my mid-30s, before I had my first son. This created a gap of 5 to 6 years. After a few years, and what feels like a recent resurgence of interest and awareness in psychedelics, I felt a strong calling to go back. However, this time, it would be with intention. I did mushrooms for the first time with the intention of going inward. I did it alone, which was also a first. It was a really great experience, but that is not what I am here to talk about. This set the stage for me finding my way to an ayahuasca ceremony. As soon as I set my intention that I was seeking this, it found me. Looking back on the synchronicity of events is mind-blowing. Around 4 months after my mushroom trip, I arrived at the ayahuasca ceremony on Friday, 21st of July, 2017. It took place in Northern California. It was on a farm in a temple with a female shaman, 2 helping guides, and 12 seekers, including myself. 2.5 years later, it is one of the most important and profound experiences of my life. I have not had a strong experience since, but I am starting to feel the calling again. I was in good mental and physical health and followed the instructions to fast for 3 days on a strict vegetarian diet with no drugs or alcohol or caffeine. I started writing down the experience that night and finished up in the morning. Then I typed it out and cleaned it up over the next couple of days. I include what I feel are the more important points of the experience. I have chosen to omit other parts that don't add much to the overall story. The whole experience lasted around 5 hours, with it being very strong for around 3. I was in a state of bliss for around 3 days after the experience. This is one of my favourite quotes, and I heard it on the drive to the ceremony, and I think this sums up the experience perfectly. The secret of life is to die before you die, and find that there is no death. Eckhart Tolle. Around 6:30, we started the orientation and went around the circle, and everyone stated their intentions. We drank the brew at 7:20. It was around 6 to 8 ounces of thick, dark brew. I pounded mine because I thought it would taste horrible from everything I had heard. Surprisingly, it was not that bad, maybe even good. This was a gift of the shaman who used honey and herbs to make the brew more palatable. After 15 minutes, I went to lie down and put on the blindfold. A blindfold where you can open your eyes and still be in darkness, and I also listened to some music. Beautiful live music provided by the shaman and her helpers. After probably another 15 minutes, my visions were getting stronger, and the space created a large theatre, hall or chapel, maybe 100 feet across or bigger. Distance doesn't really make sense in visions. It was all fractals, similar to Alex Gray's work, but more mathematically precise, like it was grown or built using the laws of science and nature, the universe. I was getting excited, waiting for something to happen, almost like the start of a show. Then the roller coaster pulled into space, and I was on it. Not my body, but my being and awareness. It felt exactly like the end of a roller coaster with a quick rolling and turning, then a hard deceleration. I was told or knew, okay, ride's over, the ride being my life, and I'm thinking, is that it? I remember feeling the worst sense of dread that I couldn't go back. It was as if I had been tricked, almost like, okay, this is what you have been searching for. You figured it out, you win, game over. Time to go back to the source. I swear, with every cell in my being, that this was absolutely happening to me. I felt like I had learned too much, gone too far, and literally broke through, pulled back the curtain, and now I couldn't go back. After being in this disappointing place, I knew the only thing I could do was surrender and let go. I remembered and felt how amazing my life was, all the beauty and the joy that I had experienced, and how much I was going to miss it. I was now floating along in the massive, moving toroid of energy. It was rolling inwards from the top and moving counterclockwise. I knew I had to let go. There was no choice. I held on for as long as I could, with so much love and affection for my life. The last thing was saying goodbye to my wife and boys. I hoped that they would be okay without me. As soon as I let go of my life, I felt myself being dissolved like grains of sand being pulled into the fractal toroid of energy. Then I thought I was going to be reborn. I felt like I was a new soul in the womb, with heavy, laboured breathing. This went on for a few minutes. I thought I was about to be reborn on Earth as a new human being, but this is not what happened. I was now in the middle of the toroid. It was black, silent, still, nothing. Just a vacuum. In the distance, I would assume the other side of the universe, I could see a huge, complicated, but perfectly balanced and efficient machine humming along. It was nothing like I had ever seen before. Again, made up of fractal energy, with big rotating sections and arms and levers. It was a building something. It wasn't good or evil, it just was there. So then I decided to build. I built mountains and forests and coral reefs. I ran through the forest as a young wolf creature, but I was monstrously large, moving the earth as I stomped around the mountains. I created orcas, but unfortunately could not become one. I created a futuristic San Francisco that was beautiful but more like sculpture and not livable. I started to create an Eden-like planet similar to Avatar, but felt like it was cheating to only have a perfectly good place. This was all interesting, but none of it stuck. I still felt trapped, and then I turned around. I was guided to a small part of one of the fractal towers by a being. The being was a light green with white light radiating out of it, an asexual humanoid that was exuding love and light. I was shown that I had created my life. I was very capable of manifesting things in my life. I could see that the fractal tower was feeding my life, and it felt so good to know that I am a part of it. I was part of the source. Everything in the universe is all one. I felt like I had become enlightened. I was then facing a different being, more like a Buddha. It had more colours and again was radiating pure light and love shining down on me. I truly believed and understood how life and the universe worked. My chest was glowing white. I was starting to regain form. I then started to come down and float back to reality. I was back in the temple space, because for the entire journey I was not. I wasn't even in my body during this experience. I kept the mindfold on for almost the entire journey, and I believed that this increased the intensity. I also did not vomit, as some other people did that night. For the remainder of the trip, I was enjoying the music, having positive thoughts about life, family, friends and work. Yes, work. You must enjoy what you do and have purpose on it. So here's what I brought back. I had a life-changing experience. I died and was reborn. I came back changed, and it has continued positive effects on my life. Before this experience, I believed in a higher power and an afterlife, but you never really know. After this experience, there is no doubt in my mind and soul that we are all connected to God and the infinite source. I have seen it, felt it, and experienced it. It was real. And my intentions 2.5 years later? 1. Live healthier. Stop binge drinking and smoking. After 20 years of smoking, I never touched a cigarette again. After quitting so many times, this alone has had such great value in my life. I drink less, but probably still too much. Number 2. What's on the other side? Still unknown, but I am certain there is another side, and it is filled with love. That is a priceless gift. I often use imagery and feelings from this experience in my meditations. Number 3. How do I use that knowledge to live a better life? Well, I've continued to look for other ways to increase my daily conscious awareness with meditation and mindfulness. I also continue to seek out enlightened teachers and others on the same path. Number 4. How do I share it with loved ones? I have shared this experience with many loved ones, and I tell them about the positive results of meditation and mindfulness, and if they are open to it, psychedelics, that is. I am an honest teacher to my young sons. Number 5. What do I need to focus or do in this lifetime to best use my time here? Be positive, radiate love and kindness, build beautiful and important things. I try to do this every day. Building beautiful and important things is not clear or easy, but hopefully this will become more apparent over time. So, to summarise and finalise, hopefully someday soon the suppression of our consciousness by outlawing psychedelics will be over. This is not for everybody, and it is not easy or even enjoyable to see real transformation. People should know that the truth and be given the option to choose it as an adult.